Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 9 of the Adams Mystery Playhouse Podcast. Adams Mystery Playhouse, of course, is Colorado's only full-time mystery dinner theater. I am your co-host, Nick Guida, and with me, as always, my partner in crime, Marn Wills Quayar. And how are we today, Marn?
Oh, oh my gosh, I tried to cut my hair right before the podcast, and somehow I've cut the whole right side of my hair off, and it looks awful.
Uh,
Huh.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Too bad this isn't video.
yeah, right.
Wait a second, Marn. Who are these other people? Do we have guests today?
Yes, we do have guests, and they're chiming in because they're that's the way they are, and we're welcoming back. We're welcoming back Olivia Donnell. How you doing today, Olivia?
I'm doing great. How are you, Mark? Oh, I know how you are.
Yeah, yes,
yeah.
yes.
Wait a minute. Olivia Donnell from episode 4?
That's the one.
I don't believe it. That's the episode we recorded right after episode 3.
Yes.
Wasn't that before 5?
Well, it was right, but it was right. Well, it was around the time we were getting ready to record 5.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, now I'm remembering. And we're bringing in an old friend. Well, she's not that old, but she's a friend.
Careful, careful.
Been with the troupe for many years. Nancy Fromhart. How are you doing today, Nancy?
Oh, living the quarantine dream, Marn.
Mm, yeah, that's quarantine. Hey, that kind of rhymes. I like that.
I like the fact that Nancy, as long as we've been doing this podcast, I'm pretty sure you're the only guest Marn has ever introduced as old. I don't know. I don't know if I take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
Wait.
Thank you
Well,
for the clue, Nick.
Well, I'm just telling you, just watch your back in this episode, Nancy.
Okay.
well, Nancy, do you remember when you auditioned at that church over on Garrison?
Yes, I do, Marn. I absolutely do.
That was really something. We had a fairly big turnout that day, and I don't even know where I put that out for people to respond to that. Do you remember?
Yeah, it was in the newspaper when they used to put audition notices, in the newspaper.
Oh, I wish they'd still do that. But anyway, you were there, David Hardison was there, and a bunch of other people. But mostly you and David uh, have kind of stuck around and done a lot of great shows.
Yeah.
You're funny, and I could see that. And I can't remember if we did any improv or we read from a script, but it was like, oh, and how many people have come up to you and I and asked if we're sisters?
Quite a few, Marn. Quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I did a monologue. It was a Neil Simon monologue. And
Mm.
you, after I did it, do you remember what you said to me about that I ought to do?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna guess that I said you need to do Phyllis Diller.
Yep, yep. And so I did, and I don't know if I ever told you this, but uh, I went to Las Vegas and saw her close out her act after I had started doing her. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she was in her 80s and she was finishing out her stand-up career. And I sent a headshot that had a picture of me as her backstage with a note. And about 2, 3 weeks after I got home, I got a package from her. She sent me about 6 different headshots of her in her outfits and one of her old jeweled cigarette holders and a note. It was fantastic.
Oh
wow.
my gosh, how cool. Well,
Yeah.
you do a heck of a Phyllis Diller. I mean, you nail it. And
Yeah, it's too bad
yeah.
nobody knows who she is though really anymore. You know.
No, yeah, you got to be old like we are to know who
I
Phyllis
know.
Diller is.
There she goes again, Nancy. I tried to warn you.
I know. I know.
Nancy, Nancy, Well, we're talking about a performer who doesn't work with us anymore, and we're just going to call him Michael M. So there's no lawsuit. So Nancy was remembering one that happened at the Golden Hotel.
Yep, it was right after we just started doing the Buffalo Bill show. It was during cheat sheet bits, and Michael was doing his magic tricks, and he set this woman's hair on fire in the front at one of the front tables.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no.
Oh my God. And he got mad at her. I mean, here she is trying to get the fire off of her head, and he's getting mad at her for reacting like that. It was like, oh my God, you just set this lady's hair on fire.
Oh.
What I remember is entering the unmistakable smell of burning hair.
Oh gosh.
It's hard to believe we didn't try harder to keep him.
Hey, what other funny moments do you remember, Nancy? I have a hard time remembering anything except the slip ups. What do you?
Well, almost all the funny ones I can think of had Doug in them. Because one of them that stands out to me was when we first started doing Harley, the motorcycle one. At the very beginning, Julie was going to sing several times during the show. Do you remember that, Martin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I remember Doug and I were standing up on the stage. Julie was up there, and I don't know where you were, Nick, but it was before the death. And and Julie, I mean, this is not during cheat sheet bits. This is during the actual show. All of a sudden, she steps down off the stage and she starts singing one of those 50s songs. And Doug turns to me and he goes, "Is this a musical?" I couldn't stop laughing. It's like right in the middle of this. That was hilarious. And the Murder Mortuary show, Nick, that one, I really loved that character, except I can't remember
Mrs. Prattle.
That's right, Prattle.
Yeah, you were good in that.
Playing off of Doug, because he was the weirdo guy who lived in the basement and stuff, and his requited love for Mrs. Prattle was funny. That was funny.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the one, because I like that line when and living, and he says something to you like, "You mean all these years together in the house, and you feel the same way?" And then your line was, "No, you creep me out."
Yeah, I know.
And not to correct you, Nancy, but it's unrequited love.
Oh,
Unrequited means not holding back, whereas requited is
oh,
yeah. So you probably want to do unrequited on that so that he can fall into your arms.
oh, yes.
Yeah, just so you know,
That was
Nancy,
a good one.
during most of your story, Marn was getting out the dictionary
Oh, was she?
to,
Well, that's
to,
good.
to correct you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad somebody looks at that. My students never do.
Oh, that's right. Now, talking about your students, for you listeners out there, Nancy not only performs with us at Adams Mystery Playhouse, she does a bunch of other things, and she is a college professor. Is that right, Nancy?
Yes. Yep. I teach writing, composition. I've taught so many different things. I don't know if you knew this, Marn and Nick, but I taught drama at the middle school level for 4 years,
I didn't.
and then
Did I?
yeah, and then I had to check into an asylum. It was like, that's it, get me out of here.
Oh,
What do you teach, Olivia? I forget. Don't you also give scooter lessons so people can learn how to drive a scooter?
Speaking about the scooter, I don't know if anybody's ever gotten a ticket. I got a ticket for running 3 stop signs, and I took it to court because they gave me 4 points on my license, and I said, this is not right. So, and I thought, well, the guy's not going to show up, and he showed up for a scooter charge. So I said, I'm not saying I didn't do it. All I'm saying is 4 points is a lot.
What were you doing running 3 stop signs? You're like a scofflaw.
It was a Sunday morning and a beautiful day, and nobody was out. What the heck? Why do you have to stop?
I agree. That's like me. I've said this before. Why do I have to say hello to somebody I see all the time?
Olivia, where was the cop that was watching you?
I don't know, but he had me on video. He brought his video to court. I said, "Look, I'm just going to talk to the prosecutor." He goes, "I am the prosecutor. I have you on video." I was like,
Oh no.
"You dog! You're a dog!"
Man, they really wanted you. I tell
They
you.
did. They were after me. So now instead of going 40 miles an hour, I go 30 miles an hour on my scooter, and people.
Can I get a copy of that video? Because I would like
I'd like to have a copy.
to see you on that scooter, because, just,
I know.
Hey, I just thought of a funny thing from the Bernice murders. Marn, do you remember that one show? I think it was almost the last show in the run of it. I don't know if it was the very last run we did, but I don't know what someone said, but you and I did the Titanic thing where you're hanging end of the boat, and I had my arms around you. Do you
oh
remember
yeah,
that?
at the bow. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
holding me by the waist, and I have my
and
arms out. Da 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 da
yeah,
da da. Yeah.
and I said, I was holding on to you, and I I I think you said kind of under your breath, you know, really hold me because I am really leaning. And I go, it's all right. Do you still trust me, Rose? And I remember way in the back, there was all these people that stood up and just started clapping, because of that one little part. It was really funny.
Oh
Oh,
It,
yeah.
it, it was so spontaneous. That's what was so fun about it. It was like we didn't plan it. It just happened. And I can't remember what someone else said that made us do that, but I could see you, and I was thinking the same thing. And you walked over to the edge, and I just went and put my arms around you. It was just like we knew it was like it was planned, but it really wasn't.
Oh yeah.
It was fun.
Those are the magic moments. Those are totally the magic moments. And oh
what
yeah.
Yeah.
show was that?
That was the Bernice murders.
Really? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, you were probably zoned out over on the other side
I
of the stage.
guess.
But the Bernice murders, I gotta say something. Um n- I Nick, I can't remember. I knew that I had matching polyester suits because this lady in Golden had donated a lot of her clothes from the '60s to the theater, and she apparently loved polyester leisure suits. So I had one in mint, peach, yellow, and baby blue. So I've got these polyester suits, and I'm thinking we got to be able to use these for something. But Nick, I don't remember. Did we decide to have the Bernice murders because we had the suits, or did we
No,
decide to
no,
have?
it was when I wrote Murder in the Luau, we had the cousins, Phil and Bernice, and all three of you played Bernice in the productions. You said, let's use the polyester suits. And like you just said, I've got one in this color, that color, and everyone had one. And then after the run of that show of Murder at the Luau, you became obsessed with doing a show, some kind of Bernice show with all three of you. And you went through all these different versions of a musical review, just all these, it just went on. And then we came up with the mystery where you were all in it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right, because we wore the polyester suits in the luau as
Hmm.
Right.
as Bernice. Right, exactly. Yeah. But
Yeah.
speaking of part sharing, I think the three of us really nail because we've changed Murder on a Harley, where Flo is not a motorcycle driver anymore. She a motorcycle rider.
Mhm.
She is a beautician. And man, I think the three of us just nail that in a totally different manner.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Yeah.
hope we're not going to be coming up with the Flow murders.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know why I did, but
Yeah. Who did the extra?
Not I.
I don't know. Well, somebody did an extra, and it didn't make any sense.
Oh,
We were talking back at Who Killed Buffalo Bill. Did you do that, Nancy, up at that place called Chasen's in those shows?
Where's that
I
at?
think you might have been there, Nancy. It was in Heritage Square, but it was way in the back, and it was like a dude ranch kind of feel.
Did they have an outhouse?
Well, I think they had a they had a
Because
yeah, outhouse thing with the moon carved in it, if I remember correctly. Did you go in
because
there and
because
change?
that's kind of what I remembered thinking was, are you kidding me? I got to go in the outhouse and change into this Lily Rose thing with all these slips and all this stuff.
That's one of the few venues I never worked. I'm curious about that venue.
Yeah.
I wished you would have been up there and suffered with the rest of us.
Oh, I've suffered with you enough, Martin. And I've suffered with you enough at various places around the state.
Who
And we
knows
did that
where?
one in Keystone in that massive
Ski lodge.
yeah, and we did the big chase scene.
Oh God, God, oh, that was horrible.
Well,
Just horrible.
it actually ended up being a fairly successful gig, but we put a lot, Marn and I put just a ton of planning into it to figure this out. And the day of the show, or the day before, they called and they were discussing it, and they were like, well, we really don't want to do a murder. Can it be some kind of IT hack?
You're kidding.
That's like the day before the show. So we went up there, and so what we did was, because nobody got murdered, instead of somebody dying and coming back, I was up there from the get-go as I wore like a policeman's outfit, and then Doug played Bosco, but nobody got murdered. And at some point, Martin's like, okay, now we did this chase all the way through this thing. We're like, Doug, I don't remember who was first. I think it was Doug. Somebody stole my. We're running around and we're running through this whole thing, and then people are looking at us. He stole the thing. I can't
Well,
get
it
it.
was so spread out, and there were all these different levels. And so there were people looking over a balcony or on a stairway or in a back hallway. I mean, it was so disjointed, but we gathered everybody. You'll remember this, Nick. This is so funny. We gathered everybody up we had people fill out ballots because we did the walk around to give our testimony. That was the only way we could do it. Then we gave them ballots. They filled them out. Then we gathered the ballots and we told people to gather around to listen to the ballots. But as we're collecting the ballots, Marco was on the gig, and Nick's reading the ballots, preparing to state them for the audience. And he goes, "None of these are funny." And Marco goes, "Well, just make up a funny one." And so, do
Yeah.
you remember that, Nick?
I'd forgotten that part. Because Martin goes, "Well, we'll pull out the funny ones, and you just read like a handful of the ones that are funny, and so none of them are funny." Yeah, that's right, Marco. We'll just make them up.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, everyone. Another exciting episode. But let's move on to the closing portion today. We're going to change it up just a little bit, but we are going to start with the solution to last episode's mini mystery, a broken engagement. Why was the professor practically certain that Molly was involved in this horrible murder? Molly said she had retired at 10 after locking her door, and she had not awakened until Fordney knocked on her door. Yet, just a few minutes after Dot had been murdered, the professor idly shaped the wax of the candle on her desk. This would have been impossible had the candle not been burning just a few minutes before he entered. So there you have it. But now we're going to do something different. In lieu of our standard mini mystery, we mentioned earlier in this episode one of our favorite shows called The Bernice Murders, we thought we would read the opening scene from The Bernice Murders. And so in this scene, I play Eddie Melvin, but the Bernices all have nicknames. Olivia is playing Bernie, Marn is playing Nisi, and Nancy is playing Nusi. So here we go with the opening scene from The Bernice Murders. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a pleasure for me to entertain you fabulous passengers on the Countess Luxury Cruise Line. Now, we thought we'd have some fun tonight and play our own version of the dating game. So let's meet these fabulous bachelorettes. From Steubenville, Ohio, our first bachelorette is Bernice Fish. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Bernice?
Well, I'm a professional photographer with the Steubenville Department of Motor Vehicles. My hobbies include scrapbooking, rumba dancing, casseroles, and baking. I just love cooking.
Well, that's great, isn't it? Now, our next bachelorette is originally from Fort Deposit, Alabama, but she currently resides in Pismo Beach. Let's meet Bernice Grunion. Oh, come on, a little history, Bernice. Hobbies?
Well, yes, I have a lot of exhilarating hobbies: scrapbooking, yoga, collecting beanie babies, and beekeeping. Beekeeper by day and baker by night.
Oh, oh, mm.
And now our final bachelorette hails from the bustling metropolis of Edgewater, Colorado, Bernice Pollock. Bernice says here that you're recently retired.
That's right. After a very exciting 40-year career at O'Toole's Garden Center, I spend most of my time now scrapbooking, raising my prize winning flowers, and feeding my 12 cats. Meow.
Well, it says here that once on a dare you ordered the 7-pound breakfast burrito at the Jack and Grill. Did you finish the burrito?
Are you kidding me? It was 7 pounds.
I once had a dream that I ate a 7-pound marshmallow, and when I woke up, my pillow was gone. What?
Now, I understand that you gals actually all know each other.
Yes, we've been friends for 30 years.
We met on a cruise to the Bahamas in 1985.
Yeah, but you're all named Bernice. That must get confusing.
Damn, they call me Bernie.
I'm called Nisi.
Well, what do they call you?
Noosey.
Lucy?
Yeah, we ran out of nicknames.
Hmm. Well, there you go. And if you want to know what happens next, the Bernice murders will be playing here at Adams Mystery Playhouse this summer, August 14th through September 12th. Get your tickets now before they all sell out. That, I believe, everyone will wrap it up for today. And of course, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks to everyone for joining us.
Oh, I fixed my hair.
And please join us for our next podcast from Adams Mystery Playhouse.